The Book of Enoch. Noah's grandfather wrote one of the oldest books in history describing fallen angels and the Nephilim. This is on Humans Are Free. Enoch was Noah's grandfather, and he was the seventh man from Adam. This places the Book of Enoch as being around 5,500 years old. Enoch was born 622 years after the creation of Adam, and that makes the Book of Enoch one of the oldest books on our planet. So here we'll look at some of the text provided in the Book of Enoch, where we can find very interesting things that speak of the fallen angels and the Nephilim. The product of ancient myth or truth written down thousands of years ago, the so-called Book of Enoch is described as an ancient Jewish religious work ascribed by tradition to Enoch, the great-grandfather of Noah of the Great Flood, the Deluge. Modern scholars estimate the older sections, mainly in the Book of the Watchers, to date from about 300 BC, and the latest part, the Book of Parables, probably to the 1st century BC. Kindly support my Patreon account since YouTube has again demonetized my YouTube channel. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below. The first part of the Book of Enoch describes the fall of the Watchers, the angels who fathered the Nephilim. The remainder of the book describes Enoch's visits to heaven in the form of travels, visions, and dreams, and his revelations. The book is made up of 5 major sections, which are the Book of the Watchers, 1 Enoch chapters 1 to 37, the Book of Parables of Enoch, 1 Enoch chapters 37 to 71, also called the Similitudes of Enoch, the Astronomical Book, 1 Enoch 72 to 82, also called the Book of the Heavenly Luminaries or Book of Luminaries, the Book of Dream Visions, 1 Enoch 83 to 90, also called the Book of Dreams, the Epistle of Enoch, 1 Enoch 91 to 108. But the contents of the book completely challenge modern religion and history, mainly because of its controversial content. Is it possible that we have overlooked ancient texts such as the Book of Enoch? Is it possible that these texts speak the truth about what happened to mankind in the distant past? If so, we have we chosen to ignore these ancient texts because they do not seem to fit in our mainstream chronology? Many authors that, based on numerous ancient texts, we can conclude that the ancient Nephilim could have been an ancient alien species that lived on Earth in the distant past, even though this is an extremely controversial notion for mainstream scholars who firmly oppose it. Now, we do know we've had various types of humanoid species on Earth, such as the Denisovans and the humans that lived on Earth at the same time, Neanderthal and humans, Homo sapiens, but we've had various extinction-level events in all these years. Now, according to several ancient texts, it's possible to conclude that the Nephilim were in fact mysterious beings that dominated over the planet before the great flood of Noah. We also have the Sumerian king list spans for 241,000 years before the great flood, Sumerian kings having lived tens of thousands of years, some of them. Now, in many ancient texts, there are references to giants, and some ancient texts suggest these mystery beings are in fact the descendants of the fallen angels. But despite many scholars trying to comprehend what the Nephilim were, there is considerable confusion surrounding these mysterious beings, which according to ancient texts were real and inhabited the earth in the distant past. There is no doubt whether or not these beings were real. The only question that surrounds them is their actual origin and legacy. Enoch 6, 1 to 3 says, "And it came to pass when the children of men had multiplied, that in those days were born unto them beautiful and comely daughters. And the angels, the children of the heaven, saw and lusted after them, and said to one another, Come, let us choose us wives from among the children of men, and beget us children." This is Enoch 10, verse 3 to 8. "And I, Enoch, was blessed, blessing the Lord of majesty and the King of the ages, and lo, the watchers called me Enoch the scribe, and said to me, Enoch, thou scribe of righteousness, go, declare the watchers of the heaven who have left the high heaven, the holy eternal place, and have defiled themselves with women, and have done as the children of the earth do, and have taken unto themselves wives. Ye have wrought great destruction on the earth, and ye shall have no place nor forgiveness of sin, and inasmuch as they delight themselves in their children Nephilim. The murder of their beloved ones shall they see, and the destruction of their children shall they lament, and shall make supplication unto eternity, but mercy and peace shall ye not attain. End quote. Then we have Enoch 7, verse 1 to 6. And all the others together, when they took unto themselves wives, and each chose for himself one, and they began to go unto them, and to defile themselves with them, and they became pregnant, and they bare great giants, whose height was 3,000 eels, that's 450 feet, who consumed all the acquisitions of men, and when men could no longer sustain them, the giants turned against them and devoured mankind. End quote. Well, we have such mythology in ancient Greek mythology, even at the time of Ulysses, when he was trying to get away from the Cyclops. So now we go to chapter 8 of Enoch. 1. And Azazel taught men to make swords and knives and shields and breastplates, and made known to them the metals of the earth and the art of working them, and bracelets and ornaments, and the use of antimony, and the beautifying of the eyelids, and all kinds of costly stones, and all coloring tinctures. 2. And there arose much godlessness, and they committed fornication, and they were led astray, and became corrupt in all their ways. 3. Semjaza taught enchantments and root cuttings, Armaros the resolving of enchantments, Barakijal taught astrology, Kakoblel the constellations, Ezekiel known the knowledge of the clouds, Arakiel the signs of the earth, Shamsiel the signs of the sun, and Sariel the course of the moon. And as men perished they cried, and their cry went up to heaven. Chapter 19, verse 1. And Uriel said to me, there shall stand the angels who have connected themselves with women, and the spirits assuming many different forms. In other words, they were shapeshifters as well, are defiling mankind, and shall lead them astray into sacrificing to demons as God. Here shall they stand till the day of the great judgment. 2. In which they shall be judged till they are made an end of. And the women also of the angels who went astray shall become sirens. So after reading these chapters, it's possible that is there any truth in them? Now again, in ancient Greek mythology, we have the sirens. They were the ones who were enchanting and singing when Ulysses was told his sailors to plug up their ears with wax, tied him to the mast so that he could hear the song of the sirens. Now, is it possible that the so-called fallen angels did in fact exist in the distant past? Is it possible that the Nephilim lived among humans? If so, we ask again, why have we chosen to ignore what ancient man recorded so perfectly in the past? This has reference from ancient code, and it's on Humans Are Free. Please leave your comments, and thank you for your support.